kind of a general question about the draft overall. So 2 forwards, 4 defensemen, 1 goaltender. What do you feel like you accomplished with this class?
I'll speak first. I think, we set out to add a lot to our mix. Excuse me. First couple rounds, I thought we did a really good job of getting people that had skill, character, had a really strong upside. And then as we went through the draft, we sort of targeted some guys, added some size on defense. Hopefully that we also went to we felt we got a strong goaltending candidate for the future. And then we made some good solid picks with players who are have some potential to be a strong candidate to have a role or have an upside to say to shoot up based on some of their more limited in the later rounds, with all of them having a lot of upside.
I know it's hard to predict what happens draft to draft, but I was just curious if there was anything about this particular draft that did surprise you the way that it unfolded.
Jeff is the guy that's most experienced, so I'll leave this to Jeff.
There's always things that happen that there's always surprises and what have you. But by and large, I think in terms of the way the draft went and the way our list was, it was actually pretty interesting. It was very, very accurate, I guess, is the way I'd say. Like our list, a lot of the players got taken in a lot of the same areas in the way we built our list. So, I think, on the one hand, it probably speaks to how prepared our group was. On the other side of that, when something like that happens, you have to be very, very prepared in terms of the strategy and what you want to do within the draft. And those are some of the things that you saw with some of the trades that we made moving around and those sorts of things. And there was a lot of other attempts to trade and do things within the draft that didn't happen. But, there's always ups and downs with the way it goes, always things that that you need to be prepared for. And I think our group was.
Barry and Jeff, obviously you guys have drafted, very physical, very talented guys at the top of the draft the last 2 years now. Is that ultimately a foundation that you want to be known for as a team moving forward?
It is called Smashville, correct?
Anyone on Zoom? We'll go to Brooks, who's sitting right next to me. But if you're on Zoom and have a question, just use the raise hand and we'll get to it.
Hi, guys. For Jeff, I suppose in particular, with the way that today went, is that kind of what you set out to do today? Getting a defenseman early on, getting a goaltender. How did you see today in particular shake out, and what you were able to pick up today in the draft?
Yeah, we're pleased. You've heard me say before that the first goal is always to build the list as to the players that we like and want with the different attributes that we're looking for, and then as it goes along, you do certainly talk about needs and filling certain boxes, what have you, through your organizational depth chart. And I thought we were able to accomplish both. All these guys that we took today are players that we liked all along and kind of had prepared for. And again, as the draft went, we kind of built some needs with defensemen and a goaltender and obviously a couple of forwards that we like a lot, that we took high. So, very pleased overall.
Go on Zoom.
Hey guys, this can be for either or both of you, but I guess if all goes well, what do you think the vision is for Jack Ivankovic? Do you think he could eventually develop into an understudy there under UC Saros?
Yeah, I think we both speak on him a little bit. He's got a wonderful personality. He's a very talented goaltender. I don't think we feel he's not finished growing in terms of physically and even in his game. So yeah, I do. I think that's a start. We're going to continue to, put a few people in the goaltending area into our draft classes, I think, in the next couple of years. But we're really, really, really pleased with getting Jack where we did. So, yeah, I would say that he could be a real good understudy. I mean, he's a absolute goalie geek. You saw the pictures of him when he was young with the Nashville Predator. When he first started playing goal, he had the Nashville Predator jersey on and was playing in the backyard or on the street. And, he's going to have that opportunity to do it on the ice in the Bridgestone one day, hopefully.
So go back to Brooks.
Guys, off of that with Ivan Kovic, and Barry, you mentioned it, but just the fact that he did grow up watching the Preds. He is a Preds fan. He loves Pecs. He loves Juice. I'm not saying that you're picking guys based on that, but
No, we aren't.
what do you think when you hear that? And how cool is that to have a kid coming in that's like, yeah, I know what this organization's all about when it comes to goaltending.
I think it's really special when you have a connection of a team that you grow up and you love, and all of a sudden they draft you. I mean, that is really special. And you talk about a player that's invested. He's been invested as a fan. Now he's going to be invested as a player, and he's going to get a full experience of that. So, I think that's just those stories are really nice to have. But I think his focus, if you met the young man, he'll prove that he is got a lot of the things that we look for in players.
See, Alex has the mic back in his hand. Go ahead.
Yeah, Jeff. So I'm curious about, it happens every year in the later rounds of the draft. You see guys who don't have the height sort of fall this year. John Mooney, Cameron Schmidt, those kind of guys that are like 5'7", 5'8". They can fill up the net, but the height requirement is not there. Is that how you guys view it too? Like, do you look at a guy and just think, okay, if they don't have the height, you can't teach height, so we can't go with that guy, or is it just a matter of that's not how it fell this year?
No, I think the smaller players that there's always going to be people that question those guys, but I think that the job is to look through that, and that there's still small players that make it, and there's always the underlying attributes that allow a smaller player to make it, and we're always looking for those sorts of things. We've had guys in the past, whether it's a Victor Arvidsson or those types, some of those smaller players that went today, we had some interest in. And that's just the way it falls sometimes. But I think that, sometimes being a smaller player, there's, it can work against you. But if you do have some of those internal attributes, you can succeed. And it's our job to try to sort through that. But yeah, it's there's small guys. You saw a lot of big players go today, but there's still the small guys that can find their way as well.
With Cam Reed, do you guys, and what he does well, do you guys see any similarities between him and Roman Josi? Even if that's maybe not a fair comparison today, are there some things about his game that are similar?
Well, that's a lofty comparison, obviously. I think the hope would be that he, just continues to develop and get better and better. We drafted Roman Josi. We certainly liked him, thought he was really good, but he'd have gone a lot higher than he did if we knew he was going to be a Norris Trophy guy one day. But that's what you try to do. You try to identify the player and the skills that they have, but then also the intangibles, the hockey sense, the character, the drive to get better. And when you have that, the sky's the limit as to how good they can become, and that's up to them. But we saw a lot of those things with him, and that's why we liked him so much and traded up for him, and we're really happy to get him.